So I'll introduce myself again. My name's Rick Slaven. I'm a proud local Wiradjuri man. My family has Wiradjuri lineage in this valley alone for the last 7 generations. So we've been here for a while. So we have a big passion in the Mount Walker area. My passion lies in safeguarding cultural heritage, including sacred sites and cultural law. Cultural law is a big thing because if this is your sitting place, you don't trespass on other sitting places. So I wouldn't go to Bathurst or Mudgee to do anything. I'm here, so I'm a local Wiradjuri. This is my sitting place, and I'm very high in protecting of wildlife and habitats. I've got a passion, and I've also got a skill where I can walk into an area and I can tell you whether that area is sick or not, which basically means I wouldn't live there, and then the people who live there seem to get sick because you draw it through Mother Earth. Now, my personal totem, most Indigenous people have a personal totem as well as their clan totem, and that's basically the animal that you see as your guardian angel. If you go out in the bush, that's your guardian angel. So my personal totem is the powerful owl. And believe it or not, there's a powerful owl pair that's sitting right in the middle of the development site. Most people wouldn't know what a powerful owl is. That's the biggest and rarest owl in Australia. They're pretty much nearly the size of a wedge-tailed eagle. So that's a big owl, and they're rare. You very rarely ever see one. So the Farmers Creek and Mount Walker areas hold priceless cultural and spiritual strength to the local Wiradjuri people. The peak was always known as where the wedge-tailed eagles dream. Now in the Wiradjuri nation, the women's totem is actually the wedge-tailed eagle. It's the closest thing to when the spirits are looking down from the clouds at you, even though the spirits are on the ground as well. So it's very significant in the Wiradjuri nation, and as you could tell by my earlier speech, the Wiradjuri nation being the biggest nation on the Australian continent. So that's a lot of totems and a lot of respect for the wedge-tailed eagle. So men and women from this area would travel along the creek, because that was basically like the songline. They'd follow the creek and they'd go and trade with other clans, and they'd gather and they'd do ceremony. Men and women had different areas, but the significant thing was they always, any life that they took to eat, they only ate what they hunted. Nothing was killed for the sake of just killing something. And the earth was always protected. So back on the 22nd of February this year, the group I'm with, Barrinang, we were invited to Energy Australia's office because they wanted to engage with the local community, Indigenous groups, as to inform us what they were up to and how good they were going to be. So we were there for about 3 hours having a meeting. But every time they said something, we asked more questions. They'd give us half an answer, and then we sort of asked more questions. And then by the end of the 3 hours, they soon realised that we probably weren't the group that they probably should engage with, because the way we think of protecting the earth, nothing they said actually balanced up. After we left, basically during the meeting, they said, oh, yeah, it's only a DA approval. So basically they're saying that everything's safe, we're just doing some surveys, we're going to have a look at this, look at that. So basically we're going to do a cultural walkover, have a look at artefacts, see if there's any connection, we'll inform you what's going on. You got nothing to worry about, nothing's going to be bulldozed because we're not at that level yet. So we were like, oh yeah, right, yeah. And they said that they would inform us when things were happening. So a few weeks after that, people started coming up to me going, what's going on at the back of Farmers Creek and Mount Walker? They've heard that there's Indigenous groups there, but they weren't local Indigenous groups, they were groups from other places. They were coming from as far as Wellington, which takes me back to the cultural law thing, but anyway. And I'm going, oh, that can't be right. So I started doing a lot, and archaeologists, so I started doing inquiries. And I've sent so many emails and phone calls, and all I could get was, no, that can't be happening because it's only at the DA level. You can't be digging up and removing stuff. So I put it back on the back burner, and then I got more information that was even more conclusive. So then I started getting more aggressive sort of with my emails, demanding to know. Then no one emailed me back at all, so I was just left in the loop. So, and it wasn't until the 11th of the 4th, so the 11th of April this year, I actually got a phone call, because on my emails I always put my phone number, and it was actually from the person who was the archaeologist. I didn't know who she was, so she said, oh, I hear you want to talk to me, and I said, yeah, so I want to know what's going on. So she said, well, ask me what you want to know, and I said, okay, I said, did you take artefacts from that site? And she went, yeah, I'm allowed to. And I said, I don't think you're allowed to. I said, it's not 1824. I said, it's 2024. I'm allowed to under the DA thing. And I'm like, I don't think so. So then I said, well, how many artefacts did you take? And she said, oh, well, this is my word. She said, well, it's not 15, it's not 30. They took approximately 1,300 artefacts from the Mount Walker Farmers Creek area to Sydney for testing. And I said, well, where are they? And she said, oh, they're somewhere safe. And I said, but you took them off Wiradjuri country. How can you do that? And she said, I'm allowed to. So that's basically all I know about that. So it was like my heart got pulled out of my chest, actually, because that's a lot of artefacts, and I don't know what sort of artefacts. They could be bones, they could be any. There's so many different artefacts, but they've took them off site. They haven't told us where they are. They haven't told us what they are. And even till yesterday, I was still sending emails, and I still haven't got any transparency as to what is going on between this connection between Energy Australia and all these people they've hired to bring in people that aren't even local custodians. So despite our efforts to seek transparency, artefacts were removed without consultation, causing distress, sickness, disrespect to our heritage, and the lack of engagement through our group, who I believe is the true group in the area that really does care for country and the health for everyone that's in here today. They've just jeopardised our ancestral spirit, strength and journey, so I'll leave that with you. And I'll keep fighting for where the artefacts are. Thank you.